Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to the latest Kaleidos Club Nebula palette video that's ever going to be posted. It's been, well, there's not a long story, but kind of a long story. I did receive my Club Nebula palette in the mail, but it came smashed, which is the biggest tragedy in the world. I was thinking, it's kind of funny because I was thinking like a couple days before I actually received this, I was like, I've been so lucky. I've never had a palette or any makeup ever arrive to me broken. And I was like, wow, how lucky am I? And then I was waiting for this palette to come for so long, and then I opened the package and it was just like exploded eyeshadow everywhere, and I just sat there and I was like, oh my god. And I posted to it on my stories, and for me, a lot of people responded and they were like, oh no, and it was really sad. And my girlfriend and my brother, who I live with, were like, maybe we don't need to be so dramatic about this. And so I DM'd them, and then I also emailed them, and I was like, because I was like, the one palette that I like wanted so bad and it's like this huge big thing is like the one palette that arrived broken to me. And I was like, are you kidding me? So I was like, I don't, because they were talking about how they had such a limited stock and it's limited edition, all that stuff. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna email them and see what happens. I was just like, hey, like my palette came smashed. If you're able, I would really love it if I could, potentially, if you could send me another one. And they were really, really great about it. They responded to me within like 6 hours, and they did like have an automated email saying, you know, like we're based in China and it's Lunar New Year, so we may not get to our emails. And I was like, you know what? It probably, totally understandable. Like it probably won't, maybe they won't see this or whatever. But they were super prompt. They were like really gracious, and they sent me another one. I was so grateful. That hasn't arrived to me yet, and I've been waiting. And I was like, I'll just wait to film with it when the new one arrives, because I was able to like press the shades that were broken into the pans, and I kind of was able to clean it up, but I won't be able to hold this broken palette up because it's just gonna go fucking everywhere. But I just couldn't wait to use it on camera, so I'm just gonna use my broken palette, and you can just hopefully trust me that I do have it in my possession. That, or I guess I could just hold it up. This is it. This is all that I'm willing to show the back end of this, because I'm so scared that it's gonna get broken. To Kaleidos' credit, it was packaged very well. I think it was just someone, I'm not gonna say it was Canada Post, but I'm not gonna not say it was Canada Post. When the box came, it was like really dented, and it was like hard cardboard, so you would have had to like really fucking smash her into something to dent that. So I think like it just, something happened in its travels that made it like something like that really jolted it. So that's why it came smashed. But I'm very excited to use it. I do, before I want to get any further into this video, I do want to mention something that I was disappointed by. That on their website, Kaleidos didn't have any swatches of this palette on deeper skin tones, only on like, I think it was just swatches on Angelica, and she's obviously a white woman. So that's really disappointing to me. People with deeper skin tones shouldn't have to go on their own and look for swatches to see if it's going to work on their skin tone when it's readily accessible to white people. People with deeper skin tones shouldn't be made to feel like an afterthought, especially because Kaleidos did have a big photo shoot, and they did include people with deeper skin tones and black people in that photo shoot, but they didn't include swatches on their website. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I checked a couple of days ago before the 17th, which is when they did do their second restock, and they still weren't there, and I was really disappointed by that. I don't know if I've actually seen them make a comment on this, but it was disappointing to me. Legally Black Beauty is actually the person that brought this to my attention on Instagram. I really love her account, and I would strongly encourage you to go and check out her post on this and just her account in general, and also her website, which I will link both in the description box of this video. So, because frankly, I just bought the palette because Angelica's a white woman. I watched the swatches on her channel. I'm a white woman, so I was easily able to see with the collaborator how the swatches would look on my skin tone. I didn't have to go onto the website and check. So it wasn't even something that I noticed. It was brought to my attention specifically by Day from Legally Black Beauty. So definitely go check her out. I think it's important to be critical of the brands that you like, and yeah, that's all I have to say on that. So let's swatch this out. After I've talked about that, I guess let's just watch it now. Some of these shades, there's shadow everywhere in this palette. Like I said, I was able to like repress some stuff, but there is like specks of shadow. Specifically the blue, the middle blue shade kind of was the main culprit. It just exploded everywhere. But so if some of the swatches look fucked, that's probably why. But there are literally so many people who have bought this palette and have swatches online. So go like check out every other person who has done a video or Instagram post about this palette, and you can see unadulterated swatches on their posts. But because I personally just want to swatch it out, we're gonna swatch it out. One thing that I really love about this palette is that there are so many deep mattes, and if you know me and if you watch my videos, you know that that is my #1 complaint. Also specifically with Kaleidos is that I never feel like their palettes go deep enough. Like I really never feel like, I always want more depth from them. So this palette is something that I was very excited to see had a lot of deep matte tones. So the first shade is the shade Firefly. This is all of these metallics and shimmers in here seem to be like pretty sheer bases, and they're more like sparkly, like sheer shades. This looks like a green in the pan, but there's definitely a like pink shift to it. It's really pretty. Then we have a matte shade. This is 7 of 9 it's called. This is like a mid-toned blue. Then we have the shade Gravity, which is a limey green, a matte limey green. Really pretty. Then we have the shade Queen of Blades. This is a deep green shade. It almost looks like it does have a blue tone to it, this green. Or maybe it's just the way that I'm looking at it. And then we have the shade Void, which is a matte deep blue. That's really beautiful. Then we have the shade You're My Only Hope. This is a iridescent light purple sparkly shade. It's like a light lavender. It doesn't have any like super apparent shift to me when I'm looking at it right now. Then we have the shade Naru, I believe. This is a light taupe shade with a little bit of a purple undertone. That's a matte as well. Then we have the shade that's most fucked in my palette. This is the shade Astro. This is like a deep blue with a purple shift to it. Really pretty. And then we have the shade Rock Hopper. This is a matte, very gray toned purple. That's really beautiful. Then we have the shade Cylon, which is another deep purple. This is a little bit more warm toned. And then we have the shade Celestial. This is like a gold pink duochrome sparkly shade that's really beautiful. And then hold on. This has a lot of like blue in it, so bear that in mind. This is the shade Nova. This is a very iridescent blue pink metallic sparkly shade. It almost looks like a white in the pan. Then we have the shade Samus. Oh, I don't know how this is pronounced. Samus seems wrong, but it's S-A-M-U-S. And this is a matte peach. Then we have the shade Nebula. And this is a metallic peachy orangey shade. And then we have the shade Red Giant, which is a matte red, which is a shade that, this is one of the shades that I'm most excited for. So that is the palette swatched out. Really so pretty. I know not everyone was super into this color story, but to me this is really inspiring. So we're gonna do a look, and I'm going to do, I think, a look with mostly the like red warm tone shades, because I have spent a lot of my free thinking time thinking about the looks that I'm going to do with this palette. And from the beginning, the first look that I wanted to do was something with these peachy reds, because that is just my shit. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to zoom in. Well, actually right now I'm going to do some up close swatches, and then I can zoom in and we can do a look together. Realized in the intro that my hair looks like a bird's feathers. It's so frizzy, so excuse that. But we're gonna do a look. So I had every intention of washing my brushes before I did this video. That didn't happen. So they are clean, but if they look stained, it's because they're not deeply cleaned, if you know what I'm saying. So I've primed my eyes using my NARS Smudge Proof eyeshadow base, and then I've also set my lids. That's how I like to do my eyeshadow, on set lids. And I'm going to just fucking start. So I'm going to start with the shade Samus. That just seems so wrong. But anyway, it's the peachy shade that I don't know how to pronounce. I'm going to put this in my crease as a transition shade. I have a feeling that based on all the reviews I've been watching and people using this palette, that it's going to be similar quality to how Kaleidos usually is, and I do generally like their makeup, so their eyeshadow specifically, but we'll just see. And you can definitely sheer the shade out, like if you use a big fluffy brush like I'm using now. And it seems to be a pretty white-based peach. Alright, well that blended exactly as I expected it to, very well. Now I'm going to go into the shade Red Giant, and I'm going to put this in my outer corner of my crease. There's truly, oh yes, I can already tell that this is going to be a look that I love. Reds are one of my favorite eyeshadow colors to wear. Reds and pinks. I also love purples, but there's nothing like a good red eyeshadow. That blended out super well. Even though it is a little bit of a deeper shade, it's like, it's beautiful. So far, so good. 2 shades in. but it wouldn't truly, I feel like I say this all the time, but I honestly mean it. It wouldn't be my channel if I did anything that was relevant or on time. I feel like I have every intention of like being prompt with something. Like this was one of the first like actual like things where I was like, you know what, maybe I'll buy this when it releases and I'll film as soon as I get it and I'll put my video up as soon as I can. It's not going to be the first, but I don't know, I could try to be as prompt as possible, and then it comes broken. I was like, cool. Which is why I'm not trying to be like someone who buys like a lot of new stuff right when it's new and tries to get it up as soon as possible, because that will never be me. Could never be me. Kudos to the people who do that, but I'm quickly learning that I won't be. Okay, so that's the red in my crease. Now I'm going to take a totally clean brush and blend just the edges of what I've put down so far out. So to deepen things up, I think that this is going to work. I think it does look a little bit deeper than this red shade. I'm going to take the shade Cylon, which is it's this purple right here. And I'm going to put that in my outer corner and my crease, but I'm not going to like blend it out as much. I think this is gonna work. Let me just see here. I feel like the thing about this palette is that every time I look at it, I feel like I can envision so many different looks, and I feel like the colors, there's a lot of different tones and shades, but they all work together really well. And even just in terms of color theory, it makes a lot of sense to me. So that is something that does excite me about this palette. And I'm sure, again, you know this if you watch me at all, I'm not a very like bright eyeshadow person. I'm very like grungy and dark. I like my dark looks and dark mattes, so this palette really ticks a lot of my boxes. Alright, and I think that did a pretty good job of deepening my crease up. So I'm going to take the brush that I used Red Giant on, so that red shade. I'm going to blend this all out. Kind of like the tones of a bruise, but in like the best way possible. I don't think I'm gonna cut my crease. Every instinct in me tells me to do that, but I'm not going to. And I'm going to take the shade Nebula. I'm gonna give that a little bit of a spritz, and I'm just gonna put this all over my lid. Wow, that has like it almost looks glowing when you put it on your eyes. That's really beautiful. Okay, that's super pretty. Oh my god, that's really unique. I definitely don't have any shade that's like that at all. So I'm going to go and tap lightly into Red Giant and just put this like almost by my eyebrow. I just want to have a little bit more definition there, and then I'm going to go back in with a touch of Cylon. Oops, that may have been a bit too much, and just go again, do the same thing basically. And then I'm going to go into Nebula on my finger and intensify it. Oh yeah. Kaleidos, I feel like generally with their sparkly formula, finger is the way, at least just to top your eyelid. That's so beautiful. That's really like strongly gold to peach. Duochrome, that's really beautiful. I'm gonna go back in with a touch of Samus and go over the edge of my eyeshadow just to bring a little of that peachiness back. And then I'm gonna go into Celestial, so it's this lighter, like pinky gold shade. And I'm gonna put this in the center of my lid. So you can definitely tell, at least in person, that Nebula is a lot like more peachy, and this Celestial shade has like a cooler pinkiness almost. So for my lower lash line, I'm basically gonna do what I always pretty much do. I want to keep it like super red and plummy and warm toned. So I'm gonna just take Red Giant all along my lower lash line, and I'm gonna blend that out like a lot. Red is a very like true red. It maybe is like the slightest bit pinky toned, but it doesn't pull super orange and it doesn't pull super pink. And then I'm gonna go into the shade Cylon and put that all along my lower lash line, and then I'm going to blend that out as well, but not as much as I blended the Red Giant shade out. I'm going to take Samus. I'm beginning to regret using this eyeshadow because I can't pronounce it, but I'm going to blend that all the way out with this shade. So I think I'm going to leave the lower lash line like that, and then finally I'm going to take the shade Nova. So it's this, it's actually like very cool toned bluey. Okay. I'm going to take that, I'm going to spray it, and I'm going to put this on my inner corner. Ooh. Whoa. That's like ultraviolet. Every time, okay, this is a very niche reference, but every time I say the word ultraviolet or I hear the word ultraviolet, I think of the last scene in the movie Angus Long's Imperfect Snogging when Aaron Johnson's character like sings that song to that girl at the end. If anyone knows what I'm talking about, let me know. All right. Well, that's mostly it. So I'm going to put something in my waterline, do my lips, and put my lashes on, and also do liner, and then we'll be back to conclude. Okay, and this is the finished look. So I put eyeliner on, I put a little bit of black in my inner corners, and then I put a red liner in my waterline. It's a little bit more like cherry than this red that's in my crease, but that's all right. I use my L'Oreal Color Reach lip liner in the shade Matte and Call, and then I use my Propa Beauty lipstick in the shade Finesse. I love this look. This is like one of my favorite types of looks, just like really rich, red toned, warm toned, with a brown lip. I really, really love it. The shades performed very true to what I'm familiar with in terms of Kaleidos' like formula, and the shimmers are again like shimmery. The Kaleidos is like iridescent shimmery formula. The shade, this peachy shade that I used on my lids, is like not as like shimmery and sparkly as some of the other shades, but I do think it's a really pretty palette. and I really do love the color story, and I did really enjoy using it. I'm not gonna fucking lie to you. Like, it's a nice palette, honestly, and I am glad that I bought it. However, I do again wish that they included swatches of deeper skin tones of this palette on their website, but I do think Angelica did a really good job of curating the color story. I think it's really, really beautiful. I already know that I'm going to have a ton of fun playing with it and creating looks. I will do a 3 looks video with this palette. When that will be, not sure. Hopefully as soon as I can get it up, but if you don't know, I mentioned it 1,000 times. I'm working in the lab right now a lot, so I'm working a lot, and I don't have as much time for filming as I would prefer, but I will try to get that up as soon as possible. And yeah, let me know if you guys picked this up. Has it arrived yet? Do you enjoy it? Do you like the color story? Do you like the formula? I really, as you can see, I really did, and I really like the way this look turned out. So yeah, that's it for me for now. Hopefully I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!